Hey, bestie.
Hey, bestie.
How's it
How are you?
going?
It feels like I haven't seen you in forever, even though it was just one day.
I know. It's really sad. Maybe I'll just come back.
Okay. Don't threaten me with a good time.
Right? Okay, can we just get right into it? Because I'm excited.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we have some things to celebrate.
Yes, we
Did you
do.
come prepared?
I did.
What did you bring? Hey.
I knew.
Okay,
Uh,
start opening so we
okay.
can cheers the moment because do you want to say it or should I?
Well, I'll say the less fun part.
Okay.
It's been a month
It has
since we
been
started this thing.
happy 1 month
One
of
month anniversary.
podcasting and being close. Well, we've been closer, I guess, than 1 month, but happy 1 month.
Were you going to say being friends?
No, I was going to say being close enough.
Oh,
But yeah, that happened much longer ago than a month. So
ready?
no, I'm not ready. I'm not ready.
It's going. It's
Oh,
opening
then
on
just
its own.
go. Struggling.
Yep.
Ah! Do you know what's so funny? I just got a text that says Casey Brewfest returns this Saturday. Okay,
Oopsie.
ready?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, can I say what else we're celebrating?
Yeah, what else?
Okay, we're officially over 300
300?
listeners. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Isn't that crazy? Over 300 in less than a month. And that's pretty crazy to me. So, cheers
Cheers.
to that. Okay, but you didn't look me in the eyes while you drank yours, so
Actually, I did. I
yikes.
cheersed you and looked you in the eyes, and then I took a drink.
Yeah, but you have to look me in the eyes while you drink.
That's when you cheers.
No, it's both.
It's when you cheers.
Well, if I have 7 years of bad sex, it's on you, okay?
Actually, it's on you.
No, because I was
It's the
looking at
person
you.
that's doing I would say it's the person that's doing it. So, like the person that didn't look at 7 years of bad sex.
Oh, well, then sucks for you. Good luck, guys. Okay, yay. Congrats. I'm so happy. That's exciting. Not that you're going to have bad sex, but that we're over 300 listeners.
I
Yay.
think I'm right, though. I think you're wrong. But
Whatever. You know what? Here's to us just both having good sex, and that's all, okay?
I was going to say, I'm going to manifest that for both of us.
Perfect. We'll just put wood on, dance around. It'll be fine.
Did you watch the rest of the Housewives episode from this week?
Yes, because when we watched it, I fell asleep multiple times. Yeah. But yes, I did.
Speaking of manifesting, the manifestation moment.
That was incredibly awkward.
What's it?
Um, but like, thank goodness. I feel like for Bose, really, she kind of brought some humor to it.
Yeah.
But that was uncomfortable a little bit.
I know. And I don't know her name. She's one of the new people.
Natalie or someone
Yeah,
else.
I think it's Allie. I get her point of I don't really want to read this out loud and say what I'm manifesting. Only because like I wonder, like, is manifestation like a wish? Like,
Right. That's what I always wondered. Is it like your birthday candles where like you're not supposed to say it out loud? Or
yeah,
if you do, maybe just to yourself. Yeah.
yeah,
Because here's the other thing, you don't want people to do like the evil eye and hear what you're working toward. You know, there's that saying of don't announce it until it's happening or something like that.
right.
Because you don't want someone to manifest it not working out, basically.
Lots of questions on manifesting, but
Well, I feel like that will be a topic we discuss with Marci
Yes.
soon.
Lots more questions.
Yeah.
So what else is going on?
Um, Hold on. I need to pull up my notes because I feel like I had something big to tell you. Oh, I do know. Here we go. And this is why I take notes. Okay, so while we're celebrating all the things right now, um, I've just been having this thought. I feel like I want to say it kind of started at the end of last year and has just been like more and more like coming front of mind, I guess you
Building
could
up?
say.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then something really hit me today. So in general, we only get one life to live, right? So like go balls to the wall. Go if you got some big, crazy dream that you feel like that would never happen for me or something that someone else might think is stupid, if it like gets you excited and lights you up, who the hell cares? Just go for it. If you
Yep.
do it and then you find it's not for you, at least you know. So that's kind of just been on my mind, I feel like, since the last year and become more and more prominent.
I
Um,
couldn't agree more with you.
and like even I feel like today things really hit me because we're officially over 300 listeners. We've been doing it for a month now. We're fully loving it and having fun with it. It would have been so easy for us to say, that's just not what we do. So, like, yeah, right. Never would happen for us. It would be so easy for us to say, I'm afraid of what so and so will think of me if I do this. Or, like, it's kind of embarrassing. And we said, fuck it, let's do it.
I mean,
And we're
I had
having
the thought,
fun.
like when I was thinking about it, I had the thought of, is it too late to start a podcast?
Yeah,
I mean, is
everyone's doing it.
anybody gonna listen to it? I'm a nobody. I haven't been on a reality show
Right.
or any show for that matter. So who's gonna listen to little old me?
Amen.
And it was just one of those days where you'd asked me about it and you said, you came back to me. I was kind of having a day of what is my life going to be?
Yeah.
You know, what's my next step in life going to be? And you said, if you could do anything you wanted, wave a magic wand and do anything you wanted, what would it be?
Yeah.
And I said, you know, that podcast you mentioned, let's just do it.
And honey, we did.
We did it.
Yes, but also on that topic of what you're saying, I had some other major click with me today where you think more like future of what am I working towards and like where I'm at right now. If I continue doing what I'm doing, focusing on the things I'm focusing on, what would my life look like in 5, 10, 20 years? Like, is this what I want to do? Am I going to be happy? Would I look back and be like, damn, I wish I went and did this? I've been heavy on that mindset too lately. And then today I had a thing just click in my brain, which like I know this because this has been a thing that's shown up for me, I would say over the last 5, 6, 7 years. And it's like if things are not flowing, that's probably, at least for me in my experience, if things are not flowing, that's probably a sign, whether it's from the universe, just in general, I don't know, but like I shouldn't have to force things, especially hard. Obviously, you work hard, you try, you put in effort. That's not what I'm saying. If you do all of those things and show up and are clear on what you need to make it happen, you've done those things to try to make it happen. If it's still not happening, that's I feel like when it becomes forcing it, and that probably means it's not meant for you. So just being more aware of those things and then like seeing things like us with the podcast and like me doing more marketing and branding and social media and stuff for us with this, how it lights me up and just like I can flow some stuff out with all of those tasks so fast and so easy. Like, hello, duh, that's probably because I should be doing that.
I think whenever you are having the feeling of something isn't right, or for me, in this last kind of change that I had, it was I don't like the person I've become at this moment.
Yes.
This is not me. This is not who I want to be. This is not how I want to show up day to day.
Right.
And it was literally, I had to, kind of drag myself out of bed. And again, I think we've talked about this before. I'm the type of person that, I've chosen this path. I'm staying on it. I'm staying on it. I'm staying on it until it just didn't work for me anymore, you know? And initially being able to say, this isn't working. This isn't for me. I need to make a move. And especially in my situation, it was, a little bit different because none of those decisions were made for me. I
Right.
mean, some of those decisions were made for me and I didn't get to make them all. But in that situation, it was just kind of you have to get past the feeling of what's wrong with me.
Mhm.
Like, why is this not working? What's wrong with me? That's kind of always where I go towards at
Yeah.
first. And then it's, okay, well, I'm going to make this work because it worked well for so long. I'm going to continue and I'm loyal and I'm going to continue this. And so to me, I do that to a fault. And so
Mhm.
it takes a lot to get me to realize this isn't working.
I agree.
It's time for something new.
And I'm glad you said that too, because I feel like lately I have noticed that in myself too, where it's like I will show up in ways that I don't like and that I don't think is truly me. So I don't love that. And like you were saying, you have to like drag yourself out of bed every day. Now, do I love to be in bed no matter what? I mean, yes, of course. But like it's to another level where it's like if you're not doing things that light you up, make you happy, bring you joy, you really enjoy doing, it's gonna start to kind of take a toll. And I
Yeah.
fear I'm really nearing that fast.
Yeah. And I feel like too, you kind of have these ebbs and flows with friendships in life too,
Yeah.
And being able to say, hey, I don't like who I am when I'm with this friend. This isn't the kind of person that I want to be. This isn't what I want my legacy to be. I don't I don't want to be this miserable person.
Yeah.
It takes a lot to say that. But I think also, being able to say that to somebody and have those tough conversations, especially when it's that other individual that's involved, I think says a lot about who you are as a person and your respect, maybe friendship with that other individual. So
Yeah. A developing story. I'm sure we'll report more on as the months go,
life
but
goes on.
yeah. Just it's yeah, things that I've been noticing and how stuff has just been clicking and in different it's almost kind of weird because it's like I'm seeing the I guess quote negative side with the positive side like at the same time. And I've never been in a situation where there's like the two happening at once, if that makes sense.
Sure.
So it's just kind of crazy to and I'm not gonna lie, I kind of love it a little bit because it's like there's things, especially from things that I've gone through in the past or whatever. Like I know there's different, like the flow thing. If things for me personally are not flowing, it's really not meant for me. So to see both sides of that in real time at the same time is weird, but
Yeah.
I love it because then it's almost confirmation. So yeah,
And you don't have to make decisions right away. And this is going to be the only time you probably do a slight pivot or
right.
a complete turn. Like
Yeah.
for me.
Who really knows? Yeah. It's things that are I'm aware of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will say life hasn't turned out exactly the way I had planned it ever.
Retweet. Which I feel like we just need to do a whole episode on that because for both of us, 100% yes.
Yes, but I've learned a lot of lessons in my life.
Mhm.
I've worked for some really great leaders who taught me a lot about who I, want to be in life.
Yeah.
I've worked with some not great leaders, and I will say I learned equally as much from them as I have from those great leaders. A lot of it's who I don't want to be in life, but, you
Still
know,
learn.
yeah. And yeah, I've been fortunate enough to have some great mentors and friends in my life who've helped me through some really difficult times. And
Mhm.
even though I don't always talk to those individuals, some I haven't talked to for years, I still, think about them often and usually smile whenever I see something that they've posted on social media or, those types of things. But those people that you meet through your life have such an impact in ways that they may not even know about.
Right. And that's the other thing I was thinking about this afternoon is if something does come to an end, it doesn't always have to be a dramatic, nasty, negative thing. Things
Right.
can end just because of that cycle of your life. Like everyone evolves over hopefully they're evolving and growing over the time of their life. So, like, it only is natural, I feel like, that not everything sticks with you all the way, you know? So just because a cycle could be ending or is ending, has ended, like not everything has to be nasty, negative. My divorce was like that. I mean, obviously, maybe negative because it is what it is. But like, we weren't fighting and like putting each other through hell. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, like, well, okay, I guess we kind of were fighting. You know what I'm saying. We didn't fight over things. It was a pretty
Once the decision was made, it was,
yeah, it was a pretty
yeah.
clean split, but, like, there's really not a lot of drama to it.
It's interesting talking about divorces. Kyle and Amanda, I go back to them
Yes,
just
and
because
Dorit.
theirs is on display for everybody.
Wait,
They
you mean Dorit?
mentioned, no, Kyle and Amanda.
Amanda.
You'll see where I'm going with this in a minute.
Okay, I'm confused.
I'm talking Summer House, Kyle and Amanda.
Oh my god, I was thinking Kyle Richards and Amanda, the manifester.
Oh,
That's why I'm like,
no.
"No, Dorit." Okay, yes.
They've put their divorce on display for everybody, and yet they're still doing press events and stuff. And they're like, we're actually better off as friends. Like, we like each other more. These press events don't bother us. And then you see kind of the opposite side with Kyle and Mauricio and Dorit and PK, where you couldn't be more different. You've got Kyle and Mauricio who are separated, but there's been no real talk of divorce.
Right.
And then you have PK and Dorit that have filed and can't be in a room together without a mediator.
Hell, even just having mutual friends is like war
An
zone, it
issue,
feels
yeah.
like. Yeah.
But I feel like I agree. There's those big moments that you have in life, and they're aha moments. And Marci would tell you that they're all related to astrology because I know that when I was going through mine, I mean, that bitch Saturn finally just left my chart.
Yeah, amen.
Uh, she
We
blamed Saturn.
and we had a party Friday for that situation. Yes, we did.
Sayonara, Saturn.
Bye, bitch. She gone.
Get out of Pisces.
Mm-hmm. And
And
don't come
don't
back.
come back. I've learned my lessons. I'm much happier without you.
Yep, I'm
I've
good.
examined my life. I feel like I've made the right decisions, and I'm ready for what's next.
Same.
Hopefully it's going to be a lot lighter and more fun because I
Yeah.
can't see how it would be any heavier.
No. Yeah, please not. No, that scares me. Oh, hey.
Hey, Marci.
Hi there. I am ready.
Hey, I'll be getting on the party.
I was like, it's not a party.
I know, I have to really think about it.
I'm really upset I did not bring any champagne.
I know. Where were you on that one, Steph?
I texted you like 2 hours ago, maybe.
So she literally was like, oh my God, we just went over 300. Go get some champagne.
That is incredible. That really is incredible.
It's
That's
crazy.
awesome.
I'm shocked. And
Yeah.
it's also our month anniversary.
It is.
I love that. Awesome.
Okay. Well, Marci is joining us from Starlight Astrology. Welcome back, Marci. We're so excited to talk to you again.
Hi, ladies. Very happy to be here.
So exciting to have you back. We had a little party on Friday because Saturn moved out of Pisces. She gone.
Hell
She needs to
yeah.
stay gone. I've learned enough life lessons. I think I'm good for how many years am I good for?
30,
For
29
the
and a
rest
half.
of my life?
29 and a half.
We only get one Saturn return, right? Like, do I have another one? Oh, fuck.
I gotta have this again.
Yeah. Yeah. but not for another 29 and a half years. So in most cases, you will have 2 Saturn returns, one when you're, turning 29-ish, and then you have one another 30 years later. So whatever that is, 60.
Okay, well, what just happened to me at
Yeah,
46?
I'm not really thrilled by this information.
So the good news is your Saturn returns always get easier. So the first one can be a doozy, but then the second one is a lot easier because you're just at a more mature stage of life at that point. So it's just easier from that perspective. But Abby, yours was a little bit of a different case because while it was not your Saturn return, Saturn was in what we refer to as your first house of your astrological chart. And it was really doing a lot of business on your ascendant, more specifically. This is admittedly getting into some pretty geeky astrology, but your ascendant is the most sensitive point of your astrological chart. When you have planets coming in and hitting that hard, you're feeling it. And you're feeling it a lot in 2025. And then this most recent, as I was telling you, February 12th, 13th, 14th, you might feel a lot. And you did, and it was exhausting.
Yeah.
That's like Saturn kicking you in the butt on the way out. So,
Well, she's gone. Bye, bitch.
Amen.
But I do have a question for you. One of the listeners wrote in and said something about she wanted to know more about the bitch Pluto. Is Pluto a bitch too?
Hold on, I have a question. Are all the planets bitches? Because it seems like it.
I mean, how many bitches I got to worry about here?
Right.
that's a fair question. So, as we talked a little bit last time, all the signs have a strength and a shadow side to it. So, a strength and a shadow, just like most things in life, there's a strength and there's a shadow. Similar to the signs, the planets also have a strength and a shadow. So, while, I'm sure you've all heard of the planet Jupiter. Jupiter is oftentimes known as the benefactor of the solar system. It brings joy, abundance, optimism. So it gets the reputation of being a good planet, an easy planet. But the reality is it also has a shadow side. Just like Saturn has a strength and Saturn has a shadow side. Jupiter's shadow side is that it expands everything it touches. So in other words, if it's in an area of your chart that's bringing up some tough emotions, having Jupiter there is just going to expand those feelings. For example, I can give you a very personal example. Right now, I'm a Leo rising, so I have Jupiter transiting my 12th house, which in a future episode, we'll get into the houses. But essentially, the 12th house is a little bit more of a hidden part of your chart. It reflects kind of the things we tend to repress, if you will. It reflects tougher emotions, mental health, how you get in your own way. And it can also relate to something as simple as sleep. And guess what? Jupiter in my 12th, I am exhausted. So, again, every planet has a strength and a shadow. So yes, Saturn has a strength and a shadow. It has more of a reputation of being more of a malefic planet. So it has it's the tougher side, but there are strengths to Saturn. For example, if I'm looking at a chart, it's very common that someone could have a Saturn, like for example, I mentioned last time during my own Saturn return, I became a mother. It's very common when I'm looking at a chart that Saturn is somehow involved in a marriage, for example, because Saturn is the planet of commitment. And when I see Saturn pretty active in someone's chart, especially when it's aspecting the sun, if it's aspecting the seventh house ruler, other placements, it can signify a marriage, which is a very happy thing. So every planet has its pluses and minuses, even though the ones that you might relate to as a benefactor planet or a good planet, there's still a shadow side to it as well.
Okay, so which one have more minuses than I do pluses? Which ones do I got to worry about?
Which ones are bitchier?
So again, every planet can present itself in a bitchier way, depending on the day, and it's more depending on what other points in your chart are impacted by this planet. Now, that being said, and I'm going to be very diplomatic, and I'm going to say every planet can bring positives and negatives. Every planet
That's like
can
saying
bring...
you love all your kids the same.
That's right. When we all know there's one you favor. I get it. That being said, I will say Mars, Saturn, and Pluto can be the toughest ones. The good news with Mars is that it's short term. Mars it's a personal planet. It orbits, its orbit's only 2 years, so it moves pretty quickly. So if it's in a tough tough point in your chart, the good news is it's not going to last very long. Saturn, as we've been talking about Saturn, Saturn only makes its orbit once every 30 years. So it's when you're going through a hard Saturn transit, yes, it lasts a little bit longer. But the good news is oftentimes, and I know we touched on this a little bit last time, oftentimes when you look back, you're like, oh, I needed that. I needed that lesson. I needed that hard thing to happen to get me where I am. But again, the good news is you're not going to have to deal with that for another 30 years in that same way. And even when you have a tough transit, when that transit comes back around again, it's always different. It can present a similar type of lesson, we'll say, but you're always in a different stage of life at that point. You're much more mature. You're much more grown up. You've had a lot of life lessons at that point. So it's always going to be a little bit easier. And then the third one I mentioned, Pluto. So Pluto, if I have to tell you anything about the planet of Pluto, so Pluto's the smallest planet of the solar system. At one point, it was considered a dwarf planet. Like it wasn't even considered a planet. I think it lost its status there for a while.
Mm-hmm.
But what I would say about Pluto is small but mighty. Do not underestimate the power of Pluto. Pluto will come in and it will unearth things. Whatever has been kept in the shadows is going to be brought to light with Pluto. Now, Pluto, here's the good news with Pluto is it's trying to bring something to light that was never meant to be, or something that was brought to life that was meant to put you in a different direction. So the other good news with Pluto is you don't always get a significant Pluto transit in your lifetime because it moves so slowly. I don't remember its orbit off the top of my head. I think it's like 248 years it takes. So you will never get a full orbit, and only sometimes will it interact with one of your planets. So it's somewhat of a rare thing, but it is a significant thing.
So can you look at my chart and like you can find out if / when it like hits, or how do you know?
Oh yeah, I can look at your chart and do that.
Dun dun dun.
Do you want me to pull it up now?
I was
Oh
going
my
to say,
God, please.
Steph, you were scared if I survived. I feel like I'm going to be scared if I hear that Pluto is coming anywhere near a
Right?
significant portion of my life.
So it's really nothing to fear, honestly. It,
I don't know if I believe you.
it can be dramatic, yes, but remember, it's really here to help you transform.
Yeah.
That's really what it's meant for.
As it kind of sounds like your Saturn return, but maybe potentially a little bit more intense.
Yes.
I say revealing truths could almost, something that you were never meant to find out, it could almost be fun. I knew I was right about that.
Yes.
So I will give you, let me ground this. Let me ground you with some kind of Pluto examples. Okay. So I don't want everyone running away like, oh my God, Pluto. So what I have seen, a few things. Number one, I have seen people become parents when Pluto goes over a very sensitive part of their chart. So for example, one of my clients I was working with, Pluto was hitting his ascendant. He became a father. That's pretty big. That's pretty significant. I had another client where Pluto was hitting their natal Venus. They fell into a lot of money.
Oh my God.
Pluto
Hello,
is also,
Pluto. Come on.
Yeah. Pluto is also known as like kind of the financier, or like bringing in, uncovering money, like mining money. Again, it's about unearthing things. So it's about bringing something to light that they potentially didn't know was there or existing or had access to in some way, shape, or form.
I'm intrigued.
So actually, Steph, I have really great news for you. You already went through a pretty significant Pluto transit.
Oh, when was that?
So let me get to the exact point here and you tell me. So let's think about 2018.
Okay.
Anything significant?
That's when I got engaged.
There you go.
Hmm.
So Pluto,
I was hoping, Marci, that you would tell me I'm going to find some money within the next year or two.
Yeah, but that was Pluto going over your ascendant. So it marked a very pivotal time in your life that you got engaged, but also if you think back and you look at it now, how that kind of played out
Yeah.
can kind of set you on a very different direction.
I feel like Pluto and Saturn really just partnered up on that, huh?
They really did. 1-2 punch.
Okay, well, I survived.
Yeah, you did, absolutely. And honestly, like, you look back at it, like 2018, was that necessarily a bad thing that, that kind of came about? Um, it was, I'm sure it was a really
Yeah,
happy time at that time.
yeah,
So again, I'm really glad you brought that one up because that's a great example of Pluto in a very good way, a
yeah.
very happy way. And again, people becoming parents, unearthing money. So yes, it can have other dramatic consequences, but there's good to it as well. Now, the other thing I think is really important to point out is we all have the power and the autonomy to do whatever we want with these transits. So, astrology is here and it's the energies that we're working with. But at the end of the day, we all choose what to do and how to do something. That's where our own personal power still comes into play. So the planets don't make you do anything. It's really about how those energies play out and what you choose to do with those energies.
Makes sense.
And I think too, some people are like, do you get scared to talk to Marci? Do you get scared to know that you're going to
Yeah.
go through some tough times? And my answer was no, because it helps me understand sometimes when I'm going through tough times. But also, I think it gives me a little bit more um, courage or vibrato, however you want to say it, on the good times too. I'm like,
Hmm.
hey, this is a good time for me. I know I'm in a positive light, so I'm just going to do this kind of a thing. And I think it's important to remember you do have that choice. You can, do it as you see fit, but also just knowing you're coming up on a tough time and giving yourself, like, knowing I should give myself grace during that time, I think really helps me, especially.
I feel like I almost can add a little, I don't know if humor is the right word, but also mine was much lower on the scale of not great things. But when I talked to you for February, you said I'm going to have some financial thing where like there's going to be a big expense. Watch your bank account. I had it. But like, yeah, it was just like a business subscription. So it
Ah,
wasn't super crazy, but it was over $300 or something that I wasn't expecting, but had it. And instead of being mad that I forgot it was an annual subscription coming up, I kind of laughed at it and was like, oh, Marcy told me.
yeah. Yeah. Well, and to go back to the example I mentioned earlier when I was talking about Jupiter, and again, Jupiter expands anything it touches. And when it's in that harder part of your chart, in my case, it's in the part of my chart that also speaks to like sleep and exhaustion, etc. Knowing that going into it, I give myself a lot of grace. And I plan my week and I plan my days to be like, I know once 9 o'clock hits, I'm done. Like I have to go to bed. So it makes it so much easier to work with the energies. And, that's the other part of it too is last year, I had a really tough chart last year, my solar return. And one of the things that was really challenging was my professional life. And I distinctly remember sitting on the couch and I'm like, oh my gosh, when is this going to get better? And I'm just like flipping through my charts. What month is this going to get better?
Hmm.
But that's also, in my mind, that's what's empowering about it is that it's not going to last forever. Like some of these hard lessons, and you look back and like, yeah, that wasn't fun. But also, it's really nice to know that this isn't forever. That helps alleviate it a lot, I think, in my opinion.
We kind of touched on this a little bit last time, but how much, so, the planets and how they align in your chart kind of determine how you're feeling, what's happening, those types of things. How do they align with like who you're attracted to both, romantically and then also like as friends and stuff?
Yeah. So there's a whole division of astrology. I think I touched on it last time called synastry. And synastry is really where you take a look at two individual charts and you put them on top of each other. And depending on how their own personal planets interact with each other, can give you a lot of clues about about that relationship in general. So, um, for example, what I often see, and again, I know we touched a little bit on this last time, was a lot of overlap in the big three in close personal relationships. So I know, Steph, you have a Pisces moon, and Abby, you have a Pisces rising. I see that combination a lot. That combination, not just Pisces, but I see the combination of people naturally gravitating toward people who have that similarity. So their moon is someone else's rising. And when you think about it, if you go back to, we talked again about this a little bit last time, where we're talking about the differentiation between your sun, your moon, and your rising. Your rising is how you see the world. It's how you approach the world. And if someone's moon is in the same sign as your rising, in the very basic sense, it's like saying, I see your heart. So I see who you are because I can see your heart, because the moon reflects your inner self, your heart, essentially. So that's always kind of a powerful way to try to conceptualize how synastry works. It's kind of where there's overlap. And I just find that that combination in particular is very common. The other one I would say is when someone's sun is in the same sign as your rising. So, Steph, your rising is Capricorn. So, if you could find someone that's a Capricorn sun
Mm-hmm.
and hang out with them for a little bit, I think you would love it.
Casey's already taken, but I think you guys are kind of best friends.
Oh my gosh. That's funny. Okay.
Yeah, because again,
Noted.
if you kind of break that down a little bit, someone's sun in your rising, it's like this person lights you up because the sun is about bringing light.
Okay.
And
So
it's
if
your
you're a
rising.
Capricorn man out there listening, slide into my DMs.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And Abby, you are a Leo sun and I'm a Leo
Yes.
rising. So we have
Which
that
is why we fit so well.
Exactly. But that's how we have that same dynamic. It's like your sun lights up my Leo rising. I'm sure nobody saw that coming.
Wait,
Especially
oh my
not on that
gosh.
first night.
That's so crazy. We were just doing this trend thing where it's like you pick a picture for each person, like for your friends or whatever. And one of the pictures you have to pick is the season. And I chose spring for Abby because I'm like, you're like the sun. Like spring is just like an exciting whatever. And now you light up Marci's life.
Marci's world.
Yeah, my world. Yeah. And actually, if you want to take that a step further, so Abby, your sun is directly on my Jupiter, which again, if we think about the traits of Jupiter, that's like optimism, fun, joy, spontaneous, adventure. And having your sun, it's like lighting up all those qualities in me, which is why we have a lot of fun.
I was going to say, we do laugh a lot when we're
That's
together.
cute.
And then also, if I have to remember this correctly, I apologize, this is getting really geeky, but my ascendant is exactly conjunct your Jupiter, Abby. So again, it's even more of that like Jupiterian qualities of.
Hold on. You said you're ascendant.
Yeah.
So, that's your rising.
Yeah, exactly. It's your
Okay.
rising. But remember, there's that very
Duh.
specific point within your rising sign that's like one of the most sensitive points of your chart. It just so happens that Abby's Jupiter is right on my ascendant. And again, it kind of further emphasizes those Jupiterian qualities. So the one thing we have to be careful of, again, if we think back to the shadow side of Jupiter, we have to be careful of overdoing it. Abby, that does not resonate, right?
Never once in my life have I overdone anything.
Yeah. So,
Nope.
yeah.
Never.
But that's like, you can think about the qualities of our relationship. We would have to be mindful that we don't encourage each other too much, that we overdo it.
Yeah. That's actually kind of funny.
I know, isn't it? I find it hilarious because I think that's very spot on. But Steph, going back to you and Abby, you both also have an incredible synastry chart. So in a similar way, Abby's Jupiter is on your Venus. So
What does that mean?
Venus is the
It's like,
planet
that doesn't sound great.
right? I'm like, okay. So Jupiter is on, so Venus, so we talked about Jupiter, but Venus is the planet. It's like a lovely planet. It's also known as a benefact planet, but it's the planet of love, romance, giving into like doing what you enjoy, like giving into life pleasures. One of the shadow sides of Venus, however, is feeling that tomorrow's never going to come. So it can bring about that mindset, like, I'm just going to enjoy today because tomorrow we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, which is there's nothing necessarily wrong with it, but you can't have too much of that because
Yeah.
otherwise you will get nothing done.
Right.
Having Abby's Jupiter light up your Venus is like having a great time together. It's like expanding those themes of Venus.
Can
So in
confirm.
yeah, exactly. Yeah,
And do
exactly.
recommend.
Yes, I do. I would
Exactly.
absolutely say that we live like today's our last.
Which is also hilarious that I joined this podcast on a Monday night and you are both drinking champagne.
On
That is
brand.
like on brand. Exactly. Like Jupiter on the Venus, like just enjoying life and bringing life to enjoyment, something along those lines, like that
Oh,
type of
okay.
thing. So,
Love.
yeah.
Yay.
So it's having a great time together and, being able to enjoy life's pleasures together.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Knew we were connected.
Duh.
Yeah.
How does it play out in we talked a little last episode about like the love languages and stuff like that. So how does your big three play out in what you prefer? Which, by the way, we found out that Casey says that I'm wrong about my love language, by the way.
Oh, interesting. So I want to know first, because there's 5, right?
Yeah. I think I'm acts of service.
Okay.
He thought I was quality time, but I also see quality time as an act of service. Does that make
Interesting.
sense?
Yeah,
Like
absolutely.
if you choose to spend time with me over
Like make that
something with the
effort.
guys,
Yeah.
like that's an effort, and I see that you're making that sacrifice to spend that time. So I guess he's kind of right, but I still see that as an act of service.
Interesting. Interesting. What would you say, Steph?
I think my number one for sure is quality time, which is funny because mine is like the same reason, but opposite ways. I don't know.
Ways.
We say like the same thing, but we choose different ones. Because I'm like, everyone is so freaking busy that if you, like Abby's saying, if you choose to take any of your time out of your busy day, life, schedule, whatever, to spend it with me. And I think also like really be in the moment with me. I think maybe that's why I say more quality time is like be there in the moment. Don't like physically be there, but not like mentally, I guess is what I'm saying. So yeah, I think mine's a quality time.
Yeah, that makes sense. So, what are the other ones? You said active service, quality time,
Mhm.
physical touch. Yes,
Yeah.
physical
Physical
touch,
touch.
Words of
gifts,
affirmation
and
and
words of
gifts. Yeah.
affirmation. Yeah.
And I will say too, gifts has always been the last on my list. But Abby and Casey each got me a Valentine's Day card because I was at their house on Valentine's Day. And that was so nice. And I really appreciated it. So I was like, oh my God. Now I don't think it's necessarily gone up on well, maybe above physical touch. I don't know. But like, I still don't like need that. But I was like, oh, that's really thoughtful that like you thought of me, you made the effort to go do it, and then you did it.
Yeah, that is. That's
Yeah.
very sweet. That's very sweet. So, from an astrological perspective, I would always go back to the moon because the moon really represents how you love and how you feel nurtured, which I think is kind of getting along the same lines as the love languages, but it's a different take on it. So, I don't know how the astrological moons, the individual moons align to the other love languages, but what I can say is when you think about the 4 different elements of the astrology, so you have fire, air, water, and earth. So a fire moon, so that means if you have your moon in Aries, Leo, or Sagittarius, fire moons really like action. They like adventure. They like putting a goal in front of them and being able to achieve it. They like going on long journeys together, being the star of the show, if you will. Like they like movement and they're very bold about how they express their emotions and their feelings. Conversely, an air moon, so that's you, Abby. So that's Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. Air moons typically put a lot of emphasis on communication, social activity. They tend to be a lot more objective when it comes to their feelings. In some cases, they can be a little detached from their feelings or be able to think around their feelings, for example, or think through their feelings. So I'm feeling sad. Why am I feeling sad? They can have this whole internal dialogue without ever expressing what those emotions actually are to them. Earth moons, so that's Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. I am a Virgo moon, so I can relate to this. Earth moons are very grounded. They're very practical, reliable. They're very connected to the human senses, and they feel a little bit more emotionally self-sufficient. What I mean by that is if they are upset, they're not necessarily going to turn to somebody else to help them through an issue. They're going to try to work through it in the most pragmatic way they can. And then you have the water moons. So, Steph, this is you as a Pisces moon. So this is moons that are typically felt very deeply. There's a lot of depth to their feelings, very soulful, empathetic, intuitive, nurturing, protective, compassionate. All of those are a lot more of what we refer to as, again, those kind of feeling moons, if you will. So that is not just Pisces, but that's Cancer and Scorpio as well.
I was gonna say, I think between Pisces and Cancer, I got a lot of emotions and feelings in
Yes.
there, huh?
Yes. But it's awesome that you have a Capricorn rising because you have that kind of earth grounding energy as well.
Yeah.
So that's how people see you. They probably see you as someone who's very grounded, but also somebody who can relate to them, who can feel what they're feeling and empathize and sympathize with them with whatever they might be going through.
Okay, so can I ask you a question? Because I always see on social media, so like, I don't even know if this is accurate, but I always see stuff about Cancer and the moon being tied together. Is that like, can you explain?
Yeah.
I don't even know what question I'm asking, but like, since we're talking about the moons, yeah, what
Yeah.
is, because the moon is like my, not my leader, but like,
I
I
don't
don't know the
know.
word I'm looking for, but my ruler, I think is what I've seen. Is
So
that a thing?
in some circles, it's a thing because you are a Cancer sun, right?
Uh,
And so some people will associate the planet of that sign as being kind of like your sun ruler. I don't really follow that.
okay,
I look more at what we refer to as your chart ruler.
okay.
So you're Capricorn rising, which means Saturn. Saturn rules Capricorn, so that's your chart ruler. Saturn, your buddy Saturn. Yeah.
Bitch. I'm just kidding.
So
Okay,
to go back on your
interesting.
but to go back on your question, it's a great question. Every sign has a planet that rules that sign.
Mhm,
So for the sign of, for example, the sign of Leo, the sun rules Leo. So the qualities of the sun are really brought to life in the sign of Leo. Or the strengths and the shadows of the sun are often displayed in the sign of Leo. So anyone who has significant Leo placements like Abby, uh, qualities of the sun or sun-like are going to be found in a Leo person with significant planets there. When it comes to when you see those things on social media about Cancer and the moon, so just like the sun rules Leo, the
mhm,
moon rules Cancer.
okay.
So that's why you're seeing that connection.
You're the sun and I'm the moon.
There you go.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, that helps.
Yeah.
So we're getting ready to have a sign change here. It's moving into my rising Pisces.
Yes.
What what's coming up for us as a collective?
This Pisces season is a doozy. It's a doozy. Pisces season in general, I know, buckle your seatbelt.
Marcy, when will you come on here with some good news? Well, I
No,
guess
I do. I do. I do have really good news for this week. So stay
Okay,
with me. Stay with me.
okay.
Pisces season. So Pisces season in general is known as the most compassionate sign of the zodiac when you think of Pisces. Kindness. It's okay to not have everything worked out. Pisces is also known for creativity, emotional depth, spiritual exploration, or just working with this knowledge that we are all more connected to something bigger, or we are all more connected to each other than not. So Pisces really has this go with the flow, what you want is what I want, that type of energy to it. It's usually a very harmonizing time of the year, quite honestly. But when I think of Pisces, I think, and this is something I spend too much time thinking about, but I think it must be really hard to be a Pisces in this world Because if you think about like Western society, Western culture, many people would describe it as kind of a go, go, go energy. It's, everyone for themselves. It's a very independence type of culture that we live in, especially in the United States. And to me, that is just kind of the opposite of what I see as Pisces energy. So,
Can relate.
okay, good. So, Steph, I was going to ask you too,
Yeah.
with your Pisces moon, and Abby with your Pisces rising, do you feel that? Do you feel like you're sometimes at odds with the rest of the world?
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Especially, uh, like in career, like at work. I very much want to win as a team, to be a team, to bring people with me and bring them along. Let's all do this together. It's so much more fun if we do it together. And it has been my experience, especially that the world seems to be out for themselves. And I cannot relate to that. I have a hard time with that.
Yeah. I think corrects me if I'm wrong, but because I have the Capricorn, isn't that like some one of their traits is somewhat like workaholic and all of that stuff? So I feel like maybe that balances me out a little bit to where I can I don't want to say lean towards it, but like I can kind of I don't know the word I'm looking for. But I think maybe because of that, that yes, I do feel the Pisces side at times where it's like, no, but I also have that in me that's like, that's just how it is. So I have to play that game, if that makes
Yes.
sense.
Yes, that makes complete sense and how that Capricorn energy balances you.
Yeah.
Do you ever feel, because this is another Pisces trait, but do you ever feel like overwhelmed by your emotions?
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
I was going to say, so I think you kind of hinted at this a few minutes ago. I don't. Um, I actually like alone time so that I can sit and be with my emotions
Okay. Also, yeah,
and think them
clarify.
through.
What do you mean overwhelmed?
That your emotions can feel all consuming.
Okay. Yes. Again, correct me if I'm wrong, but because the Cancer with the Pisces two water signs, I'm going to assume that does me in right there. But yeah, there's some times where it's like I told Abby, I think it was last week or the week before, I was having a week and I wasn't necessarily sad. Nothing was necessarily wrong, but it was just so much that I was like, I just came home and cried for like an hour and a half because I just had to let it out.
Yes. Yes.
So yeah.
And I'm a little bit different in that I need a drive. I need some time in the sauna to like meditate or time before I go to bed. Because if I don't have that time, I will lay there and think about my emotions. Like, why am I feeling this
Uh-huh.
way? And I will analyze them. I, this thought just occurred to me. People have asked me before, like, have I gone to counseling or seen a therapist? I mean, I've been through a lot lately. And I mean, even just, the infertility journey and all that stuff. And I've never felt like I needed to because that time with myself, like thinking things through, I get to the place where I'm good.
Hmm.
Does that
As
make
a
sense?
do you just have that where you have to think it through? Because I feel like mine is almost a cycle where it's like I start to overthink, and that's I feel like where it gets to the overwhelm of like I just have to let it out, feel the emotion, then I have to logically think through it, and that clears my head. It's almost like a three-step process.
So this is so fascinating to me. So you both are like exactly, this is no surprise to me that, based on your moon sign, that this is how you're processing emotions, that Steph, you feel it first
Yeah.
and then you think it. Abby like thinks it first and then maybe she feels
Mhm.
it,
Yeah.
Yep.
which very much speaks to your moon signs. But the question I have for you, Steph, and you don't have to answer
Yeah.
this or you can cut this out if you want to. Did you ever feel like growing up, or especially when you were younger, that having these bigger emotions was frowned upon?
Oh, I would say I didn't have emotions because I don't wanna say it wasn't allowed, but, for lack of better terms, it wasn't allowed. Like,
Hmm.
it our parents didn't show emotion. So us having emotion like, if I ever felt sad or anything, I would just go to my room, I feel like. You know what I mean? And not that sounds so depressing. It was not that bad. But, like, I think I didn't know, maybe that it was okay to show that. Obviously, that's still my family, but, like, in public,
Yeah.
And, like, I didn't know how, because it's uncomfortable. Even now, I don't like to cry in front of people. I will come home and cry, let it out, whatever. Um, so yeah, no, it was even when my sister got married, when I got married, we're not an emotional family. So yeah,
Got it. But that's kind of what I'm referring to, like being a Pisces in this type of culture where, to your point, and I don't think it's specific to your family. I think that's our culture, is
yeah,
that it's not always encouraged
right,
to be so forward with your emotions, to show your emotions. If you're having a hard time, you might call a good friend, you might call Abby after you've kind of worked through it. But a lot of people
correct.
wouldn't call when you're like downpour emotions, like they just kind of want to be by themselves. And, I don't
Yeah,
know. In my opinion, I just feel like our culture kind of plays into that. And it's just interesting to me. I don't have a lot of Pisces in my chart, so I can't relate to it, but I wanted to ask that question given we are in the thick of Pisces season.
no, for sure. Like I said, when I was a kid, there was just not really any emotion, and even now, yeah, if I feel it coming, I can hold it back. I can suppress it until the time is right where I'm home alone and can just let it out and feel it. And that sounds so sad, but it's not. It's just like you have, and I've learned this a lot over the last, 5 years with all the stuff I've gone through, that I have to just let it out. If I keep bottling it up, it becomes a big problem. So I have to just have that moment where I let it go, let it out. And I may not even necessarily be sad in that moment, but the emotions there, I just got to get it out.
Yeah.
Okay, when you say you've just got to get it out, do you mean
Hmm.
go home and like have a good cry? And is it
Usually,
always that?
I would say usually, at least lately, that has been my thing. Like, I didn't cry hardly ever until the last 5-ish years, 3, 5 years. I don't know. Since like 2022, crying has just kind of become a thing for me. So that's extra uncomfortable because I was just not that person before to ever do it. So now that I'm like grown and just randomly feel it, I'm like, oh, what?
Hmm.
But yeah, lately, if I feel like my emotion is built up enough, that's what I need to do. Now, sometimes it's more frustration, maybe, or whatever, and I just need to go for a walk, work out. I need to just call you, vent, whatever. But a lot of times, yeah, it feels like I just need a good cry to get it all out, and then she's gone.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a Pisces. That's a Pisces moon to a T. So that makes complete sense. So one of the other components of Pisces is that the rules loosen. So, again, if you think about, we are a society that loves rules and laws and guidelines and, policies, etc. So, but again, with Pisces season, it's about going with the flow. It's about showing up and knowing you don't have to have it all together. You don't have to be perfect. So, if there was a rule that you would break, or if there was a rule that you just decided, I'm not going to follow that rule anymore, what would that be?
All of them.
See, I'd probably add a roll.
I mean, as long as in my mind, I'm like, as long as it doesn't hurt someone else or cause harm or damage, it's fine.
Like, you would break it if, as long as breaking the rule didn't.
Yeah, as long as it's not like having a truly negative effect.
On anyone else.
I'm not gonna hurt someone. I'm not gonna damage anyone or anything. It's not like that, but yeah, if I like one of the examples when we talked the other day, I think someone had said this maybe or something because well, maybe it was me and Abby were trying to think of some ideas of this because you gave us a little warning. It didn't help too much. I'm not gonna lie, but but I
I
think
tried.
Abby was right. Thank you. I think Abby was like if you could eat breakfast for dinner, and I was like, oh no, I eat what I want when I want all the time. So that's it. It doesn't hurt anyone.
So
It
you didn't
doesn't.
even know that was a rule.
No, no.
I do agree with that. Like, if you want to have brownies for breakfast, go for
Who
it.
cares? Yeah.
The only one that should be mad at you is yourself.
Yeah.
You know, I think the rule I get rid of is the one where you have to wait for everybody to get their food before you can start eating. Like, especially at a restaurant, if you have hot food and somebody else made a poor choice on their meal,
Oh my god.
why do
I
I
mean,
need to suffer?
that's not
I
your
mean, it
fault.
may be me.
That's funny.
Maybe I would say it may be me that's just sitting there waiting, and I want you to eat your food while it's hot.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like that.
No, that's a good one.
I'd get rid of that rule.
Yeah. You know
Super
what I
fun.
would get rid of? I'd get rid of calling for reservations at a restaurant. I would just show up. I'd find a table I liked and I'd just sit down.
That's funny. Also, I
I
feel
actually like
like
that.
this isn't maybe necessarily a rule, but we were just talking about this at the beginning before you jumped on here. And I was talking about how, for me, things just have to flow. If they're not flowing, then it's probably not meant for me. So maybe get rid of the status quo limitations, maybe
Yeah.
more
Yeah. Maybe
so.
that's what it is.
Yeah, just get rid of that.
Limitations. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it.
Live your life.
You do
Okay.
you.
You
Yeah.
do you. All right. So that's Pisces season in a nutshell. Like that's typically what we see. This Pisces season, however, is going to be a little bit more bumpy. We are starting with an eclipse. Actually, we have an eclipse tomorrow, an eclipse of Aquarius, which we could spend the next 35 minutes talking about the current astrology because it's a little nuts. But Pisces season it's happening during eclipse season, which it has been for the last couple of years. So this isn't necessarily anything new, but it is kind of contradictory to what we know and love of Pisces season. So eclipse season can bring instability. It can bring like a feeling of electricness, if you will, and it can usher in change, pretty significant change. So, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but a little bit more dramatic than what we tend to see with Pisces. Pisces isn't really necessarily known for the drama component of it. That being said, this first week, so between now and February 22nd, this is the best week of Pisces season. So if there's a contract you want to sign or you're getting ready to sign, if there's an olive branch that you want to extend to somebody that maybe you have been on the outs with, or someone you've just been have on your mind, you want to reach out to them, this is the week to do it. Or to schedule in that rest and that recharge, as I mentioned. Pisces season can also just be about ensuring you get the right rest for yourself to recharge. Because after that, after next week, at the end of next week, we get Mercury stationing retrograde. So things just sometimes get a little crazy during Mercury retrogrades.
I feel like people hear more about Mercury
Yeah.
retrogrades.
Yeah.
That's more like socialized.
But
Yeah.
remind me of what happens during those.
So Mercury is the planet closest to the sun and has the shortest orbit, which means it goes retrograde the most often of all the planets. All planets go retrograde except for the moon and the sun, if you want to consider them a planet.
They
Mercury
just
goes
get eclipsed.
Yeah, they just get eclipsed. That's like their own personal retrograde. I love that. So Mercury goes retrograde 3 times a year. And a lot of times what happens during a Mercury retrograde, and actually, let me back up. We call it a retrograde because from our vantage point on Earth, it appears that the planet is moving backwards in the sky. It is not moving backwards. It just appears to do that from our vantage point on Earth. What we tend to notice, though, in terms of how this manifests, is that things just go backwards. So you tend to have technical snafus, communication. There could be breakdowns in communication. Traveling may become a little bit more challenging. So just Mercury related things can be brought to
make
the
that
attention.
face because I'm traveling.
Right. I was like, when does this happen?
Yeah. So I think it's
She kept
stations.
that a little secret from me.
I think it stations on the 26th or the 27th. I got to pull up it's right around
Isn't
there.
that like when you go?
Also,
Also,
one trip, yeah.
I kind of whisper as if that makes a difference. Maybe it won't come for you if it doesn't hear me.
Yeah. It's the 27th. So back to the whole Pisces season. Again, we love Pisces season because it's typically the most harmonious time of the year. I mean, you could also make that claim for Libra season, but it's all about coming together when it's Pisces season and, finding common ground, putting our defenses down. But this Pisces season is just going to be a little bit more agitating, if you will, because we have that. We also have Mars squaring Uranus. We have the retrograde. We have eclipse season. So if things feel confusing or things are just not going your way, give it to the end of March and you will get more clarity at that point.
Noted.
Yeah. Anything else, ladies?
That's a lot, I feel like.
I know. I'm
We
like,
covered
I
a
need
lot
to
of ground.
go review and re-listen. Yeah.
Go look up
Remember where we've
Saturn.
been.
I'm just now in your chart, Steph. I just wanted to remember where. Okay, got it.
What?
I was looking where Saturn was going. I couldn't remember exactly where that landed for you. But it's going. It, it's in your third house. It's not anything to be concerned about.
What's my third house? Don't they
Yeah.
each
So
have a thing?
yeah, they do. They have different topics. So the houses in astrology relate to kind of where something takes place in
Mhm.
your life. So there's 12. You can think of it as a pizza. And
Mhm.
every slice, there's 12 slices, and every slice represents a different area of life where something might happen. So the first house is related to very much yourself and how you show up in the world. It's also known as your rising. That's your first house. The second is related to work, but also material things, money, how you spend your money, your savings, etc., but also entrepreneurship. So that's the second house. Third house is related to community, your siblings, your extended family, how you learn, how you teach, for example. Heavy with communication in general.
If Saturn's in my third house, what does that mean?
So that means there could be restructuring in all those things I just mentioned. So community, but also the third house can relate to friendships as well. So you may notice changes in your friendships, getting kind of more restructuring, taking more responsibility perhaps in your
Okay.
relationships.
Okay.
That could also show up within your siblings. Your siblings may have bigger life changes going on during this time over the next 2.5 years. Or extended family. That could also pop up more frequently. The third
Okay.
house is also known for traveling. So you may find yourself doing more traveling, for example.
Bye. I'm out.
So,
Okay. Cool.
yes. Well, thank you,
On
ladies.
that note, I was going to say, on that note, we will see you back here next month when the signs change. Thanks for joining us again. And to all of our listeners, thank you so much for listening. I never thought we would hit over 300. We've
Yay.
also gone international. We have listeners in Germany, China, and Saudi Arabia. So if that's you,
Thank you. Oh,
thank you for listening.
I wish we knew how to say thank you in those languages.
Feels like somebody should look that up for us. No,
Yeah.
Is it Danke? Isn't that German for thank you? Danke?
Danke is, German.
Danke.
To anyone new that's listening, welcome. We hope you enjoy this. Make sure if you are listening that you go out and you subscribe so you know when we have new episodes. They do drop every Wednesday. And I guess with that,
Can I ask a quick question?
Yep.
How do you subscribe?
if you're on Spotify or Apple, you go up to the top, like you pull up the show podcast link, and then you go up to the top. There's the little stars, so you can give it a rating and a review. And then just below that is the subscribe button.
I'm pulling it up right now. I think on Apple it's just a plus sign.
Okay, yeah. Apple's the plus sign, but Spotify is do you have to rate in order to subscribe?
No. But
Okay.
I mean, feel free to give it 5 stars, Marci.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Apple is just a little plus sign up in the corner.
Got it.
All right. With
Thanks,
that,
Marci.
Thanks, ladies. Love it.
thank you.
Thank
Ta-ta for
you.
now.
Bye-bye.
Ciao tutti.
Bye.
Bye.